friends, welcome back to another episode of the Camel to Knit podcast. It is today, Friday, May 4th, I think. It is a beautiful spring day here in Denmark. It feels like we went from winter to summer, like over a week. So us Scandinavians, we are used to not having that much sun during the winter time. So at this season, we all go nuts and we go outside and we spend all our times in the garden. And I did that as well yesterday. I planted my dahlias, so I will be so excited to see if they will actually bloom this year, because I forgot to put out my old dahlias and they're just all rotten, so I had to plant new ones. But this is not a program about plants. This is a knitting show, all about knitting, yarn, and whatever else is going on with yarn or hand dyeing yarn. I can tell that Teddy is a little restless. So you might be able to hear his paws for a little while until he settles down and relaxes somewhere. Anywho, welcome to the podcast. My name is Camilla. I live here in Denmark with my family. I have two almost adult daughters and a husband. And because the weather is so beautiful and shiny today, I'm recording here in my living room, because at my office space, I just get direct sunlight into my face, and in such an annoying glare in my glasses. So in here, we're staying in here today. I guess a little bit of change of scenery every now and then is good as well. So anyway, welcome to the podcast. As I said, my name is Camilla. I work as a hand dyer and a knitwear designer, and also spend some time here on YouTube and on Instagram. And I used to be a teacher, but I quit my job almost 2 years ago. And I have never regretted that, even though I really miss both my students, my colleagues, and teaching. But this was meant to be. I was meant to do this, and being an entrepreneur has been just such a learning curve and fun. Sometimes it's not fun, but most of the time it's fun. Anyway, today I'm doing a regular podcast. That means I'll go through whatever's on my needles, finished objects, future objects, new colors that I have dyed, or new yarn bases. I have a new base to introduce. I'm not sure if that'll stay for long, but at least it's fun. And yeah, I guess that's it. So let's dig into whatever is going on. I think I will start with a pair of socks that I've been working on for a little while. I have a friend whose birthday is coming up, and her nickname is Spætte, and in Danish this bird is called a spætmeise. And it was the bird of the month of, I think, August last year. So this was I think in English it's called the wood nuthatcher, and in Danish it's the spætmeise. And I finished sock number 1, and I'm currently working on sock number 2. And I love how these minis just add this contrasting heel and toe, and you can play a little with the colors. I'm thinking this is actually the most, traditional way to use your contrasting minis for heel and toe like this. So that's what I've been doing. I was in a little bit of a hurry with these socks because it's her birthday on Monday, and I thought I was going to be able to ship those off for her today so that they will be available for her on Monday. But I was knitting so much on Sunday that I had like an inflammation in my shoulder, and for a few days I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't breathe. If I took a deep breath, it would hurt so much in my shoulder, I almost cried. So I had to take some painkillers and not knit for a few days. So I haven't been able to finish her socks. I did knit a few rounds at Knit Group last night, and I can just tell that it immediately goes to my shoulder. So there's no way I'll be able to finish those for her right now. I won't see her for a little while anyway. So I guess I can just give those to her once that I am over this shoulder pain, that I hope will disappear very fast. At least for now, I'm just not gonna knit on these small needles. I think, and I talked about that before, changing your knitting project is important, because you change the way you move your shoulders. So if you have a project that's on a very small needle or even a bigger needle, I think it doesn't matter, but just that you repeat that same movement again and again and again and again. And knitting on these small needles for a couple of hours, I think I was knitting for maybe 4 hours in a row on very tiny needles, just gave me that excruciating pain in my shoulder. And we don't want to injure ourselves knitting, because it'll just take us even longer before we get well enough to go back to knitting. So I'm doing a knitting break. It's painful to be doing knitting breaks, but I need to do that. So I need to knit less, but it's also good to just change your project so that your movement changes a little bit. So I think what I should actually do is go back to my tendon sweater and finish that. The last time I talked to you about this sweater, I was still working on the bottom of the sweater. That has now been complete, and I'm working on sleeve number 1. And for some reason, I just don't want to knit it anymore. Sometimes my motivation is that I just am so excited to see how it will look. And now I can totally tell how this is going to look, and I love the result, but now I'm just not as curious anymore. So I just don't feel like finishing it. But it is a pleasant knit. It's fun to knit with colors, and it's a lovely yarn to work with. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that my motivation was to see how this pattern will look in this yarn, and now I know. But I will be finishing this at some point. This is knit in my organic wool linen, and I'm using the undyed as the main color. And then this is brick, and this is mint, and this is hunter. And those are the 3 contrasting colors that I'm using. And I will be doing the same pattern on the sleeve as I have done here on the body. And I know that right now it looks a little narrow and a little too long, but that'll change once I wash and block this. I know, because I've done that twice before. But even though I know that, I can still get a little bit concerned. Am I right again? But hopefully I will be right. So yeah, so I will be working on this probably a little this weekend when I'm not gardening, because that is the plan for tomorrow, to get our garden looking good and making that ready for some summertime and spending some time outdoors. Another project that I have been working on is in my Messiah yarn, and I did show you that the last time, and I have not made a lot of progress. I did a few rows, yeah, but I'm really liking how this is turning out. I think a small little scarf would be really cute. So I will continue to work on my, I think I'll just call this my bubble scarf. And I'm working in my Messiah yarn, which is short for merino silk yak. And it is absolutely one of my favorite yarns to work with. It is just so lovely and smooth. And now that I have it here, let me show you something that I have had knit up. I have not washed and blocked this yet. I just haven't had the time. But this is my Sand Castle cardi in my Messiah base, but 2 strands of Messiah. So if you knit the baby version, it's 1 strand, and if you knit the junior version, it is 2 strands. So yeah, this is looking so very pretty. I did not knit this myself, but my knitting angel Jette knit this for me, and she used the color Scallop Shell. Which when I dye the scallop shell on a white base, it has a very light, almost nudish pink color to it. And you can tell here on the yak, because the yak is a little bit more warm gray here. It just has this, yeah, warmer, a little bit darker color. I think that's very cute. And I just put some pearl buttons on here to add that little feminine touch. And if you do this for a board, you can just use some wooden buttons if you don't care for pearls. But I think that Jette knit a size 2, but actually I don't remember. But that is looking so good. I just need to get that washed and blocked and bring with me to my showroom, so this can be a showroom piece, so I can have some of these gorgeous things with me when I go to yarn event. And before I take this off, I'll just let you know what this is, because I can tell that I'm getting a little warm. This is my Candy Cloud cardi. It's actually an older design, but I have recently, last summer, I did it in some new colors because it just wore out the old version. What I do is I just fill a basket with all my silk mohair leftovers, whatever I have. And I will even buy some, which means I'll just go to my I'll go to my showroom and pick out whatever color I want. But just you can buy a few if you don't have enough. And I just put whatever colors scheme that I like. So for this particular version, I took like peach and pink and purple and yellow and reds in a basket, and then I'll just knit with 4 strands at a time. Throughout the whole cardi, I have 1 strand of undyed or just white, and then I just knit with 4 strands, and then every now and then I'll just break one off and continue with a new color. I don't plan ahead, I'll just do whatever feels good. And then when it comes to the sleeves, I try the best I can to kind of use the same so that they match, but I don't write it down. So I just look and say, well, now I need a little bit more of the apricot, and here I need some of the purple, but you can tell here I have both purple and orange and pink and white, so I just mix them together. And then every now and then I'll just break it off. So you can see here I only have 2 or 3 rows with the purple, and then I will break it off and then I'll add something new. So just play with it. I've had people ask me, can you just sell me the exact same colors? And I can't, because some of them are leftovers and some of them are not. But just play with it, you know, just use whatever you have in the color scheme that you like. I have some bright yellow there, but it'll all tone down, and once you knit with all 4 strands at a time, they just kind of mute each other out a little bit. So don't be scared, you'll do good. It's funny now that I'm looking at this little bag. I think this was the first prototype that me and my aunt did when I started to make some project bags, and I wanted her to make some small ones for sock projects, so you could close this up and have like smaller projects in here. And she had some of this fabric left over in her stash, and she made a few of these in this beautiful romantic corduroy with roses, and I love this one so much. And I kept this one to myself, and I sold a few. We didn't make that many, and I sold the rest. And it's just funny to look at this and think of how some of this Camajo knit all started. Just me and my aunt in her sewing room, making up new plans and getting ideas. And back then we called it Bags by Hoya because that is our family name. And then eventually I just changed that to Camajo knit, so just to have the same brand on over whatever I did. But I just saw this here on my table. I just wanted to share this with me. I think it's just so adorable. If I could ever find corduroy close to this look, I would definitely buy that again and make some new bags. And even inside it has roses. Isn't it just adorable? And in here, I have another favorite. This is from my partner in crime and showroom friend, Tine, that I share my space with. I think all of you know that she makes project bags and knitting related things, mostly out of leather, but also out of fabric. It's always leftover fabric from furniture designing, and it based like a furniture designer here in Denmark. So the fabric that she gets and the leather that she gets is just really high quality. And I think I actually got this from her before we even started to work together. I just love this one. So she has a lot of these smaller bags with a little zipper, and you can put whatever in here that you want. I always keep my little needle book that she made for me. I actually have 2 of these needle ones because my aunt also made me one. It's in another bag. So it's good to have like a little bag, a little for your needles, and then I have a little stitch marker box that I made myself a few years back. I stopped producing those. But in here I have all my light bulb stitch markers that I use mainly for socks. I have cute stitch markers, cute stitch markers that Some of them I made myself and some I bought back in the days. I have a little tightener for my knitting needles and even a little tiny progress keeper that I made way back when. Let me show you the front. A little geisha girl. Yeah, so I always have like these things collected, even my scissor, but I don't know where I did with what I did with my scissor. But I will keep like scissors, needles, stitch markers in a little bag like this. And this is the one that lives in my Sandy by the Lakeside bag that I love very much. And the other one with the needle holder that my auntie made, I have in another knitting bag. So it's good to have these little bags with whatever you need in the knitting bag. So when I grab my little project, I don't have to remind myself to take scissors, needles, stitch markers, measuring tapes and everything else. It's already in the bag. So in this little cute corduroy bag, I keep my little sock project. And that's how I keep track of my projects. So every project lives in a little bag. And then when I go somewhere, I take my big knitting bag and I put whatever small projects I need in here. And this is also where I lose everything. So when the other day I couldn't find my keys for half a day, and of course they were in my bag as well. So that's how that works. Is that all? No, I have one more finished object to show, and I'm very excited about this. I don't know how long it was that I designed a sweater, and I was thinking about like a guy sweater. It's totally unisex, and you can knit this for both men and women. That's fine. It's called Forest Pine Sweater, and when I designed the sweater, I was inspired by our woods at our cabin or summer house, and we have so many pine trees there, and I love the pine trees. And I wanted to make a sweater, and I was actually designing it for my husband Lars, and I had in mind that he would just walk around in the woods in this sweater. And I got some gorgeous yarn from, see if I can remember the brand. It's called, I forgot the name of the brand, but I'll put that here. Pasquale yarns. And they donated me some lovely alpaca, and I did the original version in a lovely alpaca. And it was way too small for Lars, so I gave that to a friend, so I don't even own that anymore. But since that Pasquale yarn, the alpaca fino, was not my own yarn, I thought it would be fun for me to do the sweater using my own yarn. So I wanted to try to do the forest pine sweater in my organic wool linen. And I had my knitting angel again do this one for me, and she did this forest pine sweater in an undyed main color and the blue as the contrasting color. And I am absolutely in love how this turned out. We'll put a picture here of the original version in army green, and army green, or maybe it's more like a hunter green, but dark green anyways, with some undyed lice. And this is kind of reversed. I wanted to do this more of a Nordic, Scandinavian inspired look, and I thought this was just perfect. I bet it almost fits me. This is a size large, and because this is based on guys, it hasn't been washed and blocked yet, but it's not, I could actually wear this, I think. Yeah, maybe I should just keep this to myself. I actually really like this. Yeah, so you can still, of course, knit this in the alpaca. I have a DK weight alpaca at the web shop. I call that Alpaca Deluxe because it has both alpaca and some other lovely fibers in there. I think both silk and cashmere. No, I forgot, actually. But this is my forest pine. Now I have makeup on here. That's really good. Well, it's a good thing it hasn't been washed and blocked yet, so I can still save it. But this is the forest pine. And so if you need a good project for either yourself or your husband or your son or someone else, I give this one a go. I think it's so classic, Scandinavian looking. And in this yarn base, it's just rustic and still soft. And yeah, I really like this. I have convinced my daughter's boyfriend, because he has a sailboat and he loves to sail, that if he could please wear this and take some pictures on his boat. So hopefully that will happen. I just need a sip of my coffee. I hope that you have something lovely as well to drink and something to knit on while you're hopefully enjoying a little bit of knitting chat here with me. So I've been dyeing 2 new colors for in my Messiah base, which is my superwash merino silk yak base. It is the base that I have both had this made in, and also my bubble scarf is also in my Messiah base. I actually have 2 other designs in my shop. My Sella sweater is also in this base. It was before I started to dye yarn, so it was back when Fru Valbo, she still dyed yarn, and she had this base as well. So my my Sella sweater is also done in this yarn, and also actually the Sandcastle sweater is also designed originally in this yarn. And I wanted to add some more colorways to the shop because I have ordered a lot of this gorgeous yarn, and it's just so much fun to see the new colors. I did this gorgeous, I call this one Golden Olive, and it's just a warm dusty green. When I look at the screen, it looks a little bit lighter, but I don't know if that's just because the screen is showing something else than what is actually out there once it's done recording. So this is looking really good. This is Golden Olive. This is a colorway that already exists, and this is a new colorway. I think I'll just call this Lilac. I don't know if I have a color named Lilac already, but I'll put that in the shop today, and hopefully by then I will have found a name for it. It is a single ply yarn, and it's 120 grams, and so that means you have 480 meters in one skein of yarn. So you get a little bit of extra, as of course the price is also a little extra. But on the other hand, if you only need, like 450 meters, it's cheaper than buying 2 skeins. So that is 2 new colors in my Messiah base. And I also did a new color in my glitter base because I have been dyeing a lot of this asphaltos recently. I just really love this color. I dyed some in my Camajo sock yak base because I want to do a yellow like an unrock shawl going from scallop to asphaltos. And when I dyed a lot of asphaltos, I thought, oh, it would be so cute in the glitter. So this is like a really dark gray with glitter asphaltos. That will also be available in the store today. So by the time you watch this, hopefully it will be online. If not, be patient, it's on its way. And the last one I want to show you, the last yarn I want to show you today, is this new fun base. And I have actually had this laying around for like a year or so. And then Tina and I was talking about how fun it could be to use this yarn for purses or a little clutch, or even we did a collaboration way back. There's the first collaboration we did, Tina and I, we did the woolly clutch. I'll put a picture of that up here and a link down here. It was, I dyed the yarn, and she did the pattern. I helped her kind of write it a little bit so it sounded like knitting language. And she does the inside of the clutch, so you don't have to sew in the zipper or anything. Tina did that already. You just knit the little clutch, and then you sew the clutch to the inside, and it is totally self-explanatory how you do that, and it's in the pattern, so don't be afraid. I did it. It's ugly, but you can't tell. So I'm not very good at that sewing, but that's not really that's not the hard part at all. So we just thought it could be so much fun to try to dye some of this yarn, and it could be fun for purses, clutches, whatever, but also like interior things. So Tina and I are working on doing some pillow designs. We're not really done on how this is going to look, Tina's right now crocheting a pillowcase, and I have been knitting a little bit in the same yarn, but just a brick colorway. And I have just been knitting a little bit, and I think this could be really cool as a pillow for my couch. Not in this color, but maybe more like this color. And so we're experimenting a little bit on the design, and if we want the yarn on both sides of the pillow, because then you're going to use a lot of yarn, and is it better to just have the pillow, the knitting part on the front, and then you can sew on the back? And yeah, so we have a lot of thoughts regarding making pillows, but I just thought it could be fun to do this. You could even knit a little teddy bear or a little fun animal. I thought it could be fun to do a teddy bear or some kind of stuffed animal using this yarn. I call it fluff alpaca. It is 30% superfine alpaca and 70% Highland wool, and it is a non-superwash base, so you don't get those very distinct speckles when you dye on this yarn, because it kind of takes the dye slowly. Non-superwash yarn just takes the dye really, really slowly, so you can't do those spots. But I still managed to get some different colors in here, so that when you knit yourself a pillow or a purse or whatever, you have all these different colors you can tell. I will see if I can get a picture of Tina's work so far, so you can kind of tell how the yarn will look once it's knit up or crocheted. But we still have a little way to go before we have a finished design. But we are really working on something with this yarn, and I think it's fun. So let me know what you think about the fluff alpaca. Are you even interested in knitting pillows or doing anything for your house, or is it only like garments and stuff that you want to knit? I think you could do a fun sweater or a hat in this yarn as well, so we're not gonna stop and just only do like interior things with this yarn. I think we will get lots of ideas. I think a cute hat from winter would be fun, but not right now. Now it's too right now the weather is too good to be thinking about hats and mittens, I guess. Last thing I want to say before I go is that every now and then I will have yarn bouquets available in the shop, and I have not had any available for a long time. But I just cleaned out a little bit in my minis department. So right now I actually have 3 bouquets there. And a mini yarn bouquet is just 10 random minis. They are all in my old Camajo sock base. So it is a 75% merino, 25% nylon. And I just take 10 minis random in the same base, and I turn them into a little bouquet. And they look like this. And I'm just gonna take it away again, because this one looks like this, but the other 2 that I have at the store doesn't look like this. And you can't choose, you just get this bouquet, and it's random how it looks. And that's the idea. That's why they're so cheap. It's because then I can clean out 10 and sell them as a bouquet, and you can have all these minis for your little blanket or whatever you're working on where you need some minis. So yeah, you can see this one, but if you order one, it might not be this one. And I think it's just a great way to get some minis if you want to do some scrap blankets and not pay a fortune. And maybe you don't have an advent, like many of us have like advents from way back. So I will never run out of mini skeins. I have so many mini skeins. Yes, was that it? Let me check my list, because I know that every time I say goodbye, I forgot something. No, I think I did everything. Maybe we should do a little contest. No, what I want to do first of all is give you a little discount code for 20% off some of my bases that are on their way out. Those of you who subscribed to my newsletter, you got a code recently with 10%. And now I'm willing to give you 20% because we need this base out of the way. Let me think of a code. Use the code 20 off, OFF. I'm just writing it down as we talk. So 20, I'll put that here, the code. If you use that code, I'll give you 20% off my BFL base and my my zebra base. And that goes for my kits as well. I have some kits for my roller coaster show. So I will make sure to add those 20% to the kits as well. So all my zebra yarn, both the merino sock base and also my Highland wool zebra base, I'll give you 20% of those. I will also give you 20% of my Donegal fingering weight. Anything else? Yes, I always forget if I call it miso merino mohair base. Mimo. It's called Mimo. I only have like 8 skeins left in one color, but if that's what you want, you can get 20% of that as well. So that is 4 bases. I'll give you 20% off this weekend only. So now Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll have that code, and sometimes Monday. So I'm sure that whatever country you are from, the discount code will work. So 20% off those bases this weekend. And then who knows what happens after Sunday. I'll go through whatever I have, and I think I'll just do one big basket of sales products and remove the bases from the inventory list, so they don't figure as a yarn anymore. But I'm not sure how we're going to do it. Hopefully I will sell out a lot of things with 20% off just for you guys, and then eventually maybe I'll open up to the rest, and we'll see what happens. But for now, it's for the weekend. So if there's something you really want, you should go grab that now, because it will not return. I'm letting those bases go so I can have room for something else, and also just have room for more color choices in the bases that I have. That is the plan. I think that's it for now, guys. So thank you so much for tuning into another episode with me here in the summer. I know a lot of you are just spending time outside and in the garden, and maybe not that much time knitting. But if you chose to spend some time with me here, I'm glad you did. And leave a comment down below. Don't forget to push that little bell button so you get a little notification the next time that I have a podcast out. And also subscribe if you want to. So if you want to be a part of this little knitting chatting community. Also, don't forget that my advent is out, and I will not be adding any more. So the advents that are out now is the ones that will be there, and when they sell out, they sell out. I have a little bit left in every base, but not a lot. In a few of the bases, there's only 2 or 3 left. So if you know you want the advent, don't hesitate, go grab one now before it's too late, and I won't add any more bases. 120 advents is what I have out there. So that's all I can manage so far. I think that's it. Use the code 20 off and you get 20% off the bases that I just talked about. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye. Hi, I just forgot to say that the mushroom of May, the lion's mane, is now available as well. It is a beautiful peachy mushroom that I just totally fell in love with when I saw it. So if you have not seen that yet, it's available on my website as well. I'll put a link down below.